This is news analysis coming to you live on Politics and Business TV Abuja. Good afternoon and many thanks for joining us on the program for today. I am Fatima Abubakar Oyibo with the headlines. Nigeria stand for tolerance draws terrorist ire, says Tinubu. Nigeria renews push for UN Security Council seat, Shetima. Ibas meets Tinubu EFCC chair amid Rivers probe speculation. On the foreign scene, 17 African nations endorse power reforms under Mission 300. Details of the stories and more to come shortly after the break. To stay with us. Welcome back. President Bola Tinubu has asserted that Nigeria's commitment to tolerance and unity has made it a target for terrorist groups. Speaking at the United Nations General Assembly through Vice President Kashim Shettima, Tinubu emphasized that extremists despise Nigeria for rejecting tyranny and embracing a peaceful coexistence. Shettima highlighted Nigeria's painful history with insurgency, noting that the country has learned that violence only deepens division. He said terrorists aim to poison humanity with hate, but Nigeria continues to shelter and support victims of conflict, standing firm as a symbol of resilience and compassion. Tinubu's message to the global community was clear. Sustainable peace is rooted in inclusive growth and shared humanity. By choosing tolerance over tyranny, Nigeria is not only defending its people, but also championing values that foster global unity. Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima has reignited Nigeria's long-standing call for a permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council, describing it as a matter of fairness and global balance. Speaking at the 80th UN General Assembly in New York, Shettima argued that Africa's underrepresentation undermines the credibility of the UN, and Nigeria's population, peacekeeping legacy, and regional influence make its case compelling. Shettima emphasized that the UN must reflect today's realities, not the post-World War II order. He noted Nigeria's transformation from a 20 million person colony to a sovereign nation of over 236 million, projected to be the third most populous country in the world. He stressed that Nigeria's demand is not just symbolic, it's a call for reform that restores trust in multilateralism. Backing the UN80 initiative and recent reform resolutions, Shettima also advocated for sovereign debt relief, fair access to trade, and digital inclusion. He declared that artificial intelligence must stand for Africa included, and reminded the Assembly of Nigeria's participation in 51 of the UN's 60 peacekeeping missions since independence. In another development, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, retired, the immediate past sole administrator of Rivers State, held a closed-door meeting with President Tinubu at the presidential villa in Abuja. He was accompanied by the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, and the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ola Olukayode. The meeting comes days after the Rivers State House of Assembly announced plans to investigate expenditures during Iba's 6-month emergency administration. Although the agenda was not officially disclosed, sources suggest the party may have focused on Iba's stewardship and financial decisions while overseeing the oil-rich state. During his tenure, Rivers reportedly received over 254 billion naira from the Federation Account Allocation Committee, raising questions about contract awards and spending from the Consolidated Revenue Fund. Ibas declined to speak with reporters after the meeting, maintaining silence amid growing scrutiny. His visit follows Governor Simina Lai Fubara's reinstatement and pledge of loyalty to President Tinubu, signaling a shift in the political landscape of Rivers State. You're also watching news analysis right here on Politics and Business Television Abuja. Still to come, NSIB blames infrastructure decay for Abuja-Kaduna train derailment. Details of this headline and more news content after a quick break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now on to business matters. The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau has revealed that poor maintenance and decaying infrastructure were the primary causes of the Abuja-Kaduna train derailment at Asham Station on August 26, 2025. In its preliminary report, NSIB cited defective track components, unserviceable switch mechanisms, and neglected repairs from a previous derailment as key contributors to the accident. Investigators found that damaged sleepers had been patched rather than replaced, and the automatic switch point was manually operated with a broken clip at the time of the incident. The report also highlighted lapses in safety management, including the lack of refresher training for Nigerian Railway Corporation staff and widespread failure of critical equipment like CCTV cameras and communication devices. Although no fatalities were recorded, 21 passengers sustained injuries out of the 618 on board. NSIB has issued urgent safety recommendations, including full replacement of compromised infrastructure, restoration of monitoring systems, and mandatory training upgrades for NRC personnel to prevent future mishaps. Onto the foreign scene now, 17 African countries have pledged sweeping electricity reforms as part of Mission 300, a bold initiative led by the World Bank and African Development Bank to connect 300 million people to power by 2030. The nations ranging from Kenya and Ghana to Comoros and Togo endorsed national energy compacts at the Bloomberg Philanthropies Global Forum, committing to policy actions that strengthen utilities, attract private investment, and expand access. The compacts serve as tailored blueprints for each country, integrating infrastructure, financing, and policy reforms. World Bank President Ajay Banga described electricity as a bedrock of jobs, opportunity, and economic growth, while AFDB President Dr. Sidi Ould emphasized that reliable power is the fastest multiplier for entrepreneurship and industrial growth. Since Mission 300's launch, over 30 million people have already been connected, with 100 million more in the pipeline. Nigeria, though not part of this latest group, had joined earlier alongside 11 other African nations, collectively pledging over 400 reform actions to tackle energy bottlenecks and reduce investor risk. Now for sport news, let's join Arokota.
Good day, I'm Araka Tom and this is your P&B Sports Update. We begin with boxing. The Nigerian Boxing Federation has elected new officials. Congratulations to Mr. Laguda Babatunde Abdulrahman, the new technical representative, and Ms. Falilat Tijani Moreni Keji, the new athlete representative. The election on Monday at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja saw delegates from across the country participate. In the athletes contest, Ms. Falilat secured a convincing win with 21 votes against her challenger, Oboya Kende. The victory officially placed her on the Federation's executive table. And for the technical representative seat, Mr. Laguda emerged triumphant with 21 votes, while his closest rival, Mr. Daniel Faseso, polled 7 and Mr. Ajoy Olusegun had 2 votes. After his victory, Laguda pledged to bring reforms with a strong focus on grassroots boxing development, promising the Nigerian boxing will see remarkable changes over the next 4 years. Still in boxing, the Southwest Zonal Representative election has been scheduled for Saturday, September 27th in Ibadan. Now to football, where the Nigerian National League has unveiled a new financial package tagged the locker room bonus. Here's how it works. Each winning team per match will receive 1.288 million naira shared among 20 players and 3 staff members. That's 56,000 naira each. In addition, 400,000 naira goes to the NNL per match. Across the season, this translates to over 369 million directly in the hands of players, a massive boost for motivation, welfare, and competition in Nigerian football. That's your PNB Sports Update. I'm Aya Cotton. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Onto the focus of the day. So there's a new twist in the political storm brewing in Rivers State. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has summoned Governor Simeon Lai Fubara Ibas over reports of 254 billion naira in questionable spending. The controversy, which has fueled tensions between the state government and stakeholders, raises concern about transparency, accountability, and governance in one of Nigeria's most strategic states. While the governor's camp insists that all expenditures were within due process, critics argue that the figures demand a thorough probe. The president's intervention underscores the seriousness of the matter, as Rivers remain a critical oil-producing state and a political hotspot. So what does this controversy mean for governance, public trust, and the political stability of Rivers State and indeed Nigeria? To help us unpack this developing story, we'll be speaking with Comrade Bitako Abubakar Umar, who's a spokesperson of the Rebuild Arewa Initiative for Development, an educationist, a public affairs analyst, and politician. He'll be joining us shortly via WhatsApp call after the break. Do stay with us, don't go anywhere. Welcome back. So we're talking about the river spending probe, and Tinubu steps in. And I said before we go on the break that to unpack this developing story, we'll be speaking with Comrade Bitako Abubakar Umar, as a spokesperson of the Rebuild Arewa Initiative for Development, an educationist, public affairs analyst, and politician. He'll be joining us via WhatsApp call. Hello, good morning, Comrade rather.
Good afternoon,
Good
Nigerians.
afternoon, rather. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good and great.
Good to hear you. So, you've heard of the story that's making the rounds between the IBAS spending in River State as a sole administrator for 6 months. So, Comrade Umar, what do you make of President Tinubu's decision to summon Governor IBAS over this 254 billion naira spending controversy?
Well, first of all, the intervention of Mr. President in that respect is okay, is timely, is accurate, because he is the president and commander-in-chief. But when you look at the background of the entire scenario, to me, I look at it as being very unfortunate, because this is, to start with, Governor Similai Fubara was suspended. A state of emergency was declared in River State. Then a sole administrator was installed. You see, when you look at the background, the main reason why Similai Fubara was suspended was nothing rather than his mentor, his predecessor, the former governor who is the current minister of Federal Capital Territory, in the person of Nyesom Wike, he needed some certain percentage out of the annual allocation or monthly allocation of the states, which it created a lot of tensions, and the tensions amounted to a level that cannot be controlled or wasn't controlled to the extent that the president have to come in and declare the state of emergency. Yes, state of emergency in the state. And you see, another point is to look at the fact that haven't vested interest in the state by the former governor in person of Nyesom Wike in an attempt to try to get his percentage, and that failed. You see, for the sole administrator to come in and to be installed, what do you expect? If there is a misappropriation, you don't need to go far to understand where that misappropriation was channeled. Because somebody somewhere, some certain percentage, a cut in the monthly subvention. So you don't have to go far.
So what you're trying to say now is that as the governor, I beg your pardon, as the president Tinubu is summoning IBAS for this 254 billion naira spending controversy, he should also summon Wike, because it feels like the part of the percentage has gone to Wike.
They have the formula of what is happening, my dear sister. They know what is happening. They have the formula of what is of how to resolve this issue. That is why they are calling. You understand? And this will further the cry either by formulae now that the sole administrator embezzle, or the people of the state are crying foul that the sole administrator misappropriated. They knew why he was brought up, for crying out loud. This is going to be a problem moving within a visual cycle, an unending problem in the state. So personally, I said somewhere in a media chat that look, the two parties or the parties involved in the river political crisis should drop their pride, for crying out loud, and allow the state to breathe. That is all.
So from your perspective, is this more about?
Will always continue because other people need this money from the states.
So Comrade Umar,
I'm aware of all this.
Comrade Umar, from your perspective, is this more about governance and accountability, or is it rooted in politics and power struggles in Rivers State?
It's rooted in politics and embezzlement. This is rooted in politics and embezzlement of public funds, for crying out loud. It's not about accountability. Those who are calling for accountability are citizens of the state, who are innocent, who are not in power, and who could not be listened to. That is not the issue. Fubara declined giving some certain percentage to his predecessor, and that is where the policies were heated to the extent that it was not controlled by the state, it was not controlled by the stakeholders, it was not controlled by the general public. You understand? And that was why he was suspended. So he just came in, not up to 3-4 days, and now another issue of embezzlement is on ground. So what do you expect? What do you expect?
So how damaging could this controversy be to to public trust, both in Rivers State and nationally?
The damage is already there, my sister. We are here in a country where you see governors cutting away with billions and nothing happens. You see EFCC, the prestigious EFCC, as an anti-graft agency in the nation, going in for free bargain. That free bargain is supposed to come in initially. To me, free bargain is a kind of encouraging corruption in the country. So what do you say that? When you go around, you see all this corruption taking place. How many governors are now placed under EFCC, under investigation, taken to court? Have the case been sentenced? The answer is no. So what are we talking about?
According to reports, right, the sole administrator, or should I say the former sole administrator, Ibas, was summoned. According to reports, he was summoned with the EFCC chairman. So what role should the anti-corruption institution be playing in situations like this?
At the end of the day, it's going to be free bargain.
Okay.
You have cut it away with over 200 billion. Can you bring 100 billion? Then leave the odd 100 billion? This is what is happening with the free bargain. And that does not help fighting corruption in the country. As far as I'm concerned, and many responsible and reasonable Nigerians are concerned. Somebody has stolen from public fund, he should refund the complete money stolen, and he should be punished to serve as deterrence to others. This is how it's supposed to be. But in the case of this, it is not like that. They encourage corruption.
So before we go quickly, finally, I think the final question I have for you, Comrade Omar, do you think there's someone to resolve the issue, or it could escalate the political tension in Rivers?
It will resolve the issue at their own way and their own perspective and their own position and the way they so like it.
Like you said, to be resolved with through bargaining, right?
Yeah, either bargaining, either the vested interest of Mr. President or the vested interest of the political class who, one way or the other, have touched that part of the 200 and something billion naira. That is obvious. It will be resolved. It has started now. In the next 2-3 weeks, you wouldn't hear anything about it any longer, either in media or anywhere else. It has happened with various.
So it's not going to affect. It's not going to affect the governance of Fubar in Rivers State.
When it forge, when they insist, they become so persistent, it will still affect it. It will create another dimension of crisis in the state. So to me, for him not to be voted again, it should be the entire situation should be handled with utmost maturity.
Okay, the river spending controversy is a reminder of how governance, accountability, and politics are deeply intertwined in Nigeria. As President Tinubu steps in, all eyes will be on how this matter is resolved, whether it restores public confidence or deepens political divisions. That has been our focus for today. Our guest was Comrade Bitako Abubakar Umar. He's a spokesperson of the Rebuild Ariwa Initiative for Development. He's an educationist, a public affairs analyst, and a politician who joined us via WhatsApp call. Thank you for staying with us. And that wraps up today's program. But before we go, the headlines again. Nigeria stand for tolerance draws terrorist ire, says Tinubu. Nigeria news push for UN Secretary Council seat Shettima. Ibas meets Tinubu EFCC chair amid Rivers probe speculation. And on the foreign scene, 17 African nations endorse power reforms under Mission 300. For more updates and in-depth analysis, follow Politics and Business TV.English on YouTube and Facebook. Connect with us on Instagram at PNBTV_English and TikTok at PNBTV_English. Remember to subscribe and stay informed. From me, Fatima Abubakar Oibo, it's bye for now.